The pre-owned market has seen tremendous growth over the last 3 or 4 years. It's been fueled by a fairly interesting economy that we've all sort of gone through. There was a really interesting article that was published by SJX, or it was technically created by Lux Consultant, and it basically goes into detail about how Lux Consultant is forecasting that the secondary market would surpass the primary market of watch sales by 2033. I wanted to dive into this article a little bit because it is a pretty interesting topic to get into when you look at pre-owned market compared to the primary market. And I wanted to talk about some of the comments that are made. I'll put a link in the description of this video to the article, and there will also be a link that will be for the full report that Lux Consult did. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so as I mentioned, SJX, I saw this on Instagram actually initially. Oliver Mueller at SJX wrote this article that basically summarized this report that Lux Consult put out. At the bottom of the article, if you want to go there, I'm looking at my screen here, there's a full report of the secondary market on the luxconsult.ch. There's a license fee, but it's a pretty interesting report and gives you some details about the secondary market. Now, the premise of this article is basically the fact that the watch market has seen some very good growth over the last couple of years. The primary market saw a record year in 2020. Is probably going to achieve a record year of 2022, something about 52 billion Swiss francs of watch sales in 2022, which is up by 12%, which in 2021 was 46.3 billion Swiss francs. Now, the secondary market has also seen some really great growth rates over the last couple of years. It rose 20% year over year this year and amounted to about 25 billion. So you're still looking about half of what the primary market ends up being. The reason why the conclusion of this article is that the secondary market is going to take over is because it's seen that there's been a compounded annual growth rate of about 12% over the last. There's forecasted a 12% compounded annual growth rate over the next 10 years, and so it's believed that by 2033 the secondary market's going to overtake it. So you're looking at a compounded annual growth rate of about 12% for the secondary market and about a 4% clip for the primary market, which makes the two lines sort of meet. I'll put up a graph that's used was created by Lux Consult to sort of demonstrate this effect. So you really see this sort of upturn in the secondary market. Now, when they kind of go into sort of the drivers of growth of why the secondary market's really being driven up so quickly by an annual growth rate like 12%, it's mainly because they sort of go back about the idea that people are frustrated with the fact that they can't get their models at retail, the models that they want at retail, and so they've turned to other markets, whether that's pre-owned or gray market, in order to get those specific watches. They also kind of described how the pandemic really fueled an incredible growth in watch interest in watch sales, and a lot of the individuals who made a lot of money through cryptocurrencies really went into the secondary market and pumped up a lot of the values of the models that are very desirable. What is interesting is there was an article that Morgan Stanley did, a report called "The Swiss Watches as a Play on Crypto Wealth." It estimated that about 0.5% of the gains made in cryptocurrencies were invested in luxury watches, which is fairly significant and would lead to demand of about 10 billion euros, which is pretty significant when you think about the fact that the secondary market was 25 billion Swiss francs. Now, So I think the premise of why they think this growth rate has really we've seen this in the past is the lack of ability to get watches at retail, and then this cryptocurrency fuel that sort of put fuel on the fire with people trying to get these models. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of reversal in the prices of secondary market watches. As an example, Rolex Daytonas have dropped significantly in price. If you look at the stainless steel version that's referenced in the article, they show a graph of it dropping from about just shy of 45,000 euros all the way down to 31,000. But this is still significantly more than what the retail price of one of these 116500LN Daytonas goes for at retail. Now, I think this is an interesting sort of topic, and they sort of describe how a lot of people are really focusing on Rolex, Audemars Piguet, and Patek Philippe for the watch that they're trying to get. They're the Grail watches. Those brands have seen significant increases in their sales, and so people are turning there's been significant increase in the demand for those watches, and so people are turning to the pre-owned market for these watches. I think it's quite interesting that the drivers that are mentioned are fairly point in time, and I'm going to kind of shift over to sort of my thoughts on this. The drivers are sort of very point in time, in my opinion. I think the pandemic obviously fueled a lot of people to be able to have some disposable income. Cryptocurrency did allow for people to buy things that are considered luxury goods. But I think that was the last 4 years, and I don't have the full article, but I think using the past 4 years to represent the next 10 is I'm not gonna say dangerous, but there's a lot of things that can go differently in the next 10 years and really change the trajectory of the secondary market. Now, do I think that if we think about the first driver, which is demand for specific models, do I think that demand is going to shift to lower, or people are going to look for retailers are going to open up and say, okay, let's give everyone a Rolex Daytona or a Nautilus? I don't think that's going to happen, and so I do think that there might still be some constraint on the supply of watches, which will probably prop up the secondary market nicely. But I think the other driver that is mentioned is this ability and disposable income that people got through the pandemic, and I think macroeconomically speaking, I think things are tightening a little bit. There's been some interesting there's been some interesting results in the European markets with recession worries compared to the US markets. It'd be interesting to actually see this, but split out by country or region. But I think there is going to be a tightening of money supply with consumers, and I don't think everyone's going to have insane amount of wealth. But then again, like I'm saying what I think right now. The next 10 years, something can definitely change. And there's probably going to be another upcycle where people are able to generate tons of wealth, and we'll probably end up going into watches. What I worry about, though, is the individuals who really got into watches because of all this hype that was around them, and then could possibly lose money over the next... the people who got into watches and then lost money through this massive decline in prices, and then has kind of been scarred by the whole industry because of it. I hope that that's not the case, and people genuinely learn about watches and get into them for the right reasons, and don't just buy them because they think that they're going to increase in value. But I do think that there might be a subsection of the individuals who bought watches who might end up staying away from them because they got burnt previously. I always think that projecting 10 years in the future is rocky ground. I think there was a lot of comments on the Instagram post kind of with similar sentiments. I don't think that the interest in watches is going to die or shrink. I do think the interest in watches is going to increase, but whether or not the pre-owned market overtakes the primary market is yet to be seen, I think. So we'll just have to take the next 10 years as they come. As I mentioned, there'll be a link in the description of this video to the article if you want to take a look at it, and hopefully I gave you some of the graphs that you can look at as well. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you think the secondary market's going to overtake the primary market. So let me know in the comment section below what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to read our full article, you can go to livefromtherisks.com and go to the editorial section, and you'll see our article for this specific video. If you are new to Live from the Wrist, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share this with a friend who might be interested in watches. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button for me, it really does help me out. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time.